Hello. Is it on?
Yeah. The U.S. prison population is rising at alarming rates. Mandatory sentencing guidelines and a growing number of drug-related convictions may be to blame for overcrowding prisons. Although local jails are generally operating under stated capacities, federal and state prisons are overcrowded, with some as much as 33% higher than their official capacity. The 50 largest jail systems house 1/3 of all jail inmates. 19 of these jails are operating at or above their rated capacities. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, in June of 2003, 1 in every 140 U.S. residents was incarcerated in jail or prison. Also in 2003, the total U.S. prison population reached 2 million people, more than any other country in the world. Jonathan Turley, a professor at George Washington University Law School, said, "The increase in the federal system is not surprising." Turley also pointed out what he called common problems in the nation's prisons, including violence and widespread prison rape due to overcrowding. Critics of U.S. prisons complained about the increase of prisoners being held in privately run prisons. "Private prisons tend to cut corners to increase profit," said Peter Wagner, assistant director of the Prison Policy Initiative. The critics also welcomed the decline in juvenile sentencing, according to a Bureau of Prisons report. With many juvenile institutions around the country closing their doors due to budget cuts, the only place to house juvenile offenders is in adult facilities. "Incarcerating juveniles with adults leaves them subject to abuse," says Peter Wagner. "Juveniles who need help should receive it," Wagner added. "In my mind, there is only one way to efficiently put an end to overcrowding in U.S. prisons. We have to ask ourselves if the crime committed is serious enough to lock the offender up with people who actually did commit violent crimes. Did the offender commit an act of violence in which they did pose a threat to the overall safety of the community? Are we as taxpayers willing to pay on average of $45 per day to keep this person in a prison cell? I believe we can all agree that if a person commits an act of violence harming other citizens, that this individual belongs in a jail cell. But if someone is arrested buying narcotics to support their drug addiction, do they really belong in that same jail cell? I understand that drugs can lead people to do stupid things, but if the individual being charged with the drug conviction is only harming himself and no one else, the best way to help him is to actually give him help. In my opinion, this wouldn't necessarily consist of placing this drug addict in a prison with people convicted of murder and other violent crimes. In order to reduce overcrowding in prisons, we must reevaluate some of our state statutes with mandatory prison sentences for nonviolent crimes. In a country built by intelligent men and women who forged their own path to freedom, I would expect that we could also invent a more modern, more efficient, and more safe way to rehabilitate our nation's criminals. After all, it is our goal to rehabilitate and integrate them back into society as a law-abiding citizen. Or is it easier just doing what we've always done? Lock them up and throw away the key.
Yay.